A federal appeals court has blocked President Trump's latest bid to fire Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. Cook, who is an Atlanta native and went to school at Spelman College, has faced allegations of mortgage fraud regarding properties she owns in Michigan and Atlanta from the White House. Cook has not been formally charged with any crime.